And I'd have to imagine that right now, Kim Jong-un and Putin are having a good laugh. All of this is embarrassing and has left a tremendous stain on democracy in the US. Hey, it's Jaylen. And yes, I have strong abilities to criticize both sides of the political aisles equally. But today, that's not the goal. I received a few questions that I want to answer today, and ultimately they're around this one theme. Right or wrong, what does Donald Trump's second indictment mean for you in the United States? If you're wanting a deep dive on Donald Trump's indictments and each individual charge, this is not the video for you. I'm going to focus on the implications of the indictments and how they impact the country, or simply what comes next. This is number one because it goes without saying that this is a historic and unprecedented moment. A former president of the United States of America has not only been impeached twice, but not convicted, and has been indicted twice. Once in March 2023 for his alleged role in hush money payments to pornographic film actress Stormy Daniels, using campaign money during the 2016 presidential election, and recently, just now, in June 2023, for improperly storing, hiding, and sharing information from top secret and classified documents following his presidency. This latest indictment is the first ever indictment of a former president by a federal grand jury. If Trump's entire era of presidency, from campaign to the presidency and post-presidency itself, wasn't one for the books, this right here has solidified it. This is a significant moment in history that future generations will study. Does any of this stop Donald Trump from running for office again in 2024? If nothing, this all will definitely delay him becoming the frontrunner and the nominee of the Republican ticket in 2024. If he would have been convicted by the US Senate in either of his impeachment trials, the 14th Amendment gives an untested power for Congress to restrict a president and many other roles in the US government from serving in office if they've ever participated in an insurrection. If that were a power that Congress would test, we all know that this would 100% be fought and decided for by the Supreme Court. Beyond that power given to Congress in the 14th Amendment, the US Constitution only states the following qualifications for president. 1, be a natural-born citizen of the United States. 2, be at least 35 years old. And 3, have been a resident of the United States for 14 years. So in theory, barring Section 4 of the 25th Amendment, where the president could be removed by a vote of Congress if they felt he was incapable to serve, Trump could not only run for president, not only be elected as president, not only be sworn in as president, he could serve as president from behind bars, considering the current laws, if he became a convicted felon. There are states that don't allow convicted felons on their ballots. However, that rule or law at a state level cannot restrict candidates for federal roles and offices. And 3, in the midst of all this, we already have very tense relationships, if you call that a relationship, with other world powers such as Russia and China. And I'd have to imagine that right now, Kim Jong-un and Putin are having a good laugh. All of this is embarrassing and has left a tremendous stain on democracy in the US. I'm not a betting man, but I would bet with a lot that Russia and China are strategizing or executing influence campaigns to play on the amount of chaos and political divide that's happening right now in the US, especially around these trials with Donald J. Trump. And at the end of the day, even if it's not political, and the FBI and DOJ are following the law and procedures to a T, it still feels political. An FBI and a DOJ under a Democratic administration is pursuing a former Republican president and, well, a presidential candidate for the next term. This is number 4. I don't know if there will be any laws that are passed here in the future, but I believe down the road, a very distant future, there will be some serious conversations in reality that our government can have serious conversations again, that they'll look at how to prevent or at least consider, are there conflicts of interest in a case like this? Now, when all this is said and done, or I guess this is the said and done, the outcomes, a few things can happen. 1, it goes to trial and he's convicted, or 2, he's not convicted. Third option is there's a plea deal that happens on the way that puts all this to sleep. And maybe there's a deal in there that Trump agrees to never run for president again or any political office in the US. Or number 4, and this is not my favorite, but it's definitely highly ranking. In consideration of the national interests of the US, like Gerald Ford did for Nixon, Biden or the next president calls for a pardon on Trump. This is an embarrassing moment and a significant distraction for our country. And if they can restrict him from running again with that pardon and an agreement, I'm not sure how that would work. They should explore it. At the end of the day, the nation will either face a reality where a former U.S. president is convicted for felony crimes and is sentenced to jail, or maybe house arrest. I mean, he has the tightest security in the world around him, so they just lock him in a room in his house. There's your jail right there, and it's federal. Or again, maybe none of this happened because a deal comes together, he's pardoned, or he's simply not convicted or guilty of the charges that he's been indicted with. If you didn't know, I'm not a judge, nor am I an attorney, nor a journalist, or a political expert. However, I am a consultant. I'm an executive at a consulting firm. I run the firm. I own the firm. But I spend my day, every day of the week, looking to take big problems, big challenges, big news, and boil them down to what matters. And that was my goal in today's conversation in answering these questions. Right or wrong, what does Trump's second indictment or conviction mean for the U.S.? And I hope that I delivered. If you felt you learned something, or at least picked up a new opinion on all that's happening, let me know in the comments, like this video, and if you want more conversations like this, please subscribe. Thank you all again, and hey, it's Jaylen.